All right, guys, today we're testing the Begode, however you want to pronounce it, T4. This retails at $2,350. It has an 1,800 watt-hour, 100 volt battery pack and a 2,500 watt high torque motor. My buddy Jeff here is going to be doing a torque test later in this video, and it actually scores pretty high. We'll show you guys that clip in a few minutes. Some more information: this has a 100mm shock, about a little under 4 inches of suspension travel. This does come with a couple bump stops that you can take out for a little bit more travel, but for the riding that we're doing today, not a ton of big jumps. Those bump stops actually limit some of the travel and make for a little bit more of a comfortable ride at those bump limits. In this day and age, a relatively lightweight wheel at 67 pounds. We've got a super bright headlight. This is the early model Begode T4 with the exposed cable.
Older controller.
Yeah, older controller.
And different pedals.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, new perforated pedals for the new one.
Nice. Got a digital readout at the top here, showing our speed, mileage. It's kind of hard to see in the daylight, honestly. Here's what the handle looks like. It can set in a lifting position here or trolley mode, and wheeling it around on your side. It's okay. I'm 5'10". This feels pretty comfortable for me.
Is there a spin kill switch so you can lift up the stairs without it spinning up?
Yeah, so this left button right here is your spin kill switch right there. You just press the pause button and it beeps, okay. And that's it. But
and then you resume it.
But this is a suspension wheel. You just climb up the stairs. You just charge at them.
I'd love to see that.
Here's where your charge cables connect. Kind of a flimsy cover, but once you get it on there, it kind of covers them. Mostly the handle's going to be protecting those. Build quality, a little bit hashed together. Could see some improvements there.
Well, it's a Gotway.
It is a Gotway. But in terms of fun and smile factor, pretty good so far today. We're going to ride some mountain bike trails out here in southeast Michigan. We've got a lot of fall leaves. We do not have the knobby tire on this T4. This is the more street-oriented tire with a smooth center rib. So actually, it's done pretty well in some leaves and a little bit of mud today, but if you're doing lots of off-roading, you're gonna want the knobby tire like Jeff has here on his MSP.
And the new T4 ships with a knobby.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Cool. All right, let's go ride. Really starting to get comfortable on this wheel after spending a couple days with it. The factory pads that come on here are pretty nice. They feel good for my legs, my size. I'm wearing shin and knee pads. And some of the larger impacts, the pad does hit my shin, but if you're already armored up, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Underneath me, the wheel feels pretty good. The 16-inch tire gives it an extra level of nimbleness. My stance on the wheel is pretty wide. There he goes. Nice. That's great torque. You can really lean into it. All right, so this is Jeff conducting the pull force test on the Begode T4. We've got
Great. Go, 3, 2,
scale
1.
right there.
178. That's really good, actually.
178. All right.
Actually, could you go in my cockpit and rip my e-brake?
Yeah. All right, one more.
3, 2, 1. 183. That's pretty good, buddy.
183. Cool.
Yeah, one more.
What's the highest you've done with your MSP?
201.
201. Okay.
Yeah, we can get out and see if it'll still do it today. 3, 2, 1. 174. Looks like I snagged on a screw. There's little pokey parts down under there.
All right, spin test.
.48
48
miles an hour, same as the MSP.
Cool.
You still have it.
MSP.
See that?
What's that?
202.
202.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I think the new Begode T4 really does up the capability of some of these suspension wheels. Very comfortable out here on rough terrain. The torque level is great to work with. Gives you a lot of confidence on this wheel in hairy uphill situations or whenever you need it. It's just nice to have it on hand. Getting better at that.
Say what?
Getting really good at that.
It's a useful skill.
Yeah. Nice. So what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, we talk about the difference between a small tire diameter and a big tire diameter. And we saw that it still has like a really strong pull force. But this one with the smaller tire diameter, even though it has a similar pull force to like an old MSX, the amount of effort that you have to put in to get that acceleration is less. It's easier to accelerate with the small tire. And I think that's something that is not really obvious to new unicycle riders. The big ones are, you have to work harder to make them accelerate. This smaller tire, oh man, so sporty, really easy to accelerate. You just makes you feel like you want to go. It's great.
Yeah, there's something about the 16-inch tire. It's just kind of the sweet spot. And this has a little bit of meat on it. You can air it down a bit with the suspension, get some more grip around the corners.
Definitely not rough.
No, it's very comfy.
No. All right, you want to take this guy back?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you're brave, we could
Just finish it out.
Find some mud.
I don't really want to do too much cleanup.
I know, it's not fun, but
I know.
that's the weak heel of that thing is like, it's gonna turn itself into a giant glob of glue.
Jeff seems to think this is just going to get caked full of mud and it's going to just...
The difference is all these open slots.
Yeah.
So see how this one is like all enclosed and there's really just a plastic channel, and once the plastic channel gets full of mud, it just stays there, and then you can like pull it out with a wire or a hose or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is gonna like shove goo up into every little cranny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to clean that thing after it gets covered in mud.
And not only mud, but dust, water, everything else that's bad.
Where are we? We're out in nature. It's dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long-term wear and corrosion and grinding and big white bundle here.
Oh yeah.
Flopping around in the breeze.
Okay.
And if any of those wires like get cut, you crash.
Catch a root.
And it's gonna like doesn't look very finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finished it.
Yeah, this does look a little skunk works and kind of hashed together, but gosh,
wheel, right?
It does ride well.
One.
Yeah, skeleton wheel. Yeah, looks neat.
And the other concern that the community really has is these batteries in a plastic box.
In a crash,
Exposed to everything in the rear. Like,
yeah,
you saw all the rocks.
for sure.
And the wheel tumbles down the rocks sometimes. And what if the rock goes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fire. That's what happens.
Yeah, not much is going to keep that contained.
So what people do is you add a bunch of power pads and extra padding and armor. But
just slap it on.
if you ride it stock, it's kind of risky.
Got to be careful. Got to have your wits about you. You know, some more exposed wires here too. Adjustable rear fender.
Yeah, how long is that gonna
Adjustable
last?
shock. Bolted on, a little sideways. That's okay.
What parts of the damping are adjustable?
So just rebound, and this is about a mid setting. 30 levels of adjustment. This is about 15 from each side.
And if you put it all the way to its limit, can you tell the difference?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
good.
So it's if you pull, if you go full left, it's very bouncy. Full right, rebound is very slow.
Okay.
So this is kind of a nice middle ground that I like. Everyone has their own preferences, but this way it rebounds faster and you're not losing traction.
Okay. You
over
like
bumps.
a little looser.
Yeah, a little looser.
Yeah.
I don't like it too super bouncy because then it just kind of throws you off. calm down. It's okay. It's okay.
High tilt angle setting so I can go around bank turn
Yeah, you can.
without it shutting off. Comes with some consequences.
Yeah, I put this on high tilt angle too.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice.
They did that.
Yep.
It's kind of terrifying with the old MSXs going around the turn.
Oh man, I've never had any issues with mine, but
I got through like a year and a half without having a roll angle cut out. Then I had two. And it just like destroyed my confidence in berm.
yeah. Yeah, that's another thing we haven't really talked about is the Begode app. Crashed a bunch of times on me, but you can usually keep it open long enough to change settings, tweak stuff, do what you need to.
Hey,
What app are you using these days?
EC World is still excellent.
Okay. And that's on Android, right?
Right. There's a different developer and a different open source app for iPhone called Darkness.
Okay, yeah, Darkness Spot is what I use typically. It's been pretty good. You do have to unlock this T4 manually. You hold the stop button on the left and press the power button 5 times, power off the wheel, power it back on, and that'll either lock or unlock it for transport, which is nice. So that's not something that you have to do in the app. Let's not lose the wheel on the river. Keeping it out of the water. Yeah, I think the big takeaway here with this T4 is just how effortless everything is. The upgraded model with the knobbier tire, the more reliable packaging, I think is probably going to be a really good buy. Ground clearance feels great though. Pedals have a good amount of height to them. You feel high and wide on this T4. Yeah, a really fast wheel. I'm just in a very pleasant rhythm with this today. This is feeling very good. The initial acceleration is just fantastic. And nice braking performance too. That's something that is very important on off-road oriented wheels, just because if you're going down a hill, you want to be able to decelerate and maintain your speed, so you're not going too fast. One important thing that Jeff mentioned is that the smaller wheel and tire size of this T4 really does help give it more torque. It's kind of a sweet spot in wheel size, in my opinion. Gives you a better gear ratio for acceleration, deceleration. And as long as there's suspension and some sidewall to the tire, you don't really have to worry too much about bumps, roots, impacts, etc. In terms of comfort and rideability, it's a very nimble, agile wheel. I'm just effortlessly going pretty fast through some of these trail sections. A lot of confidence. Probably one of my favorite wheels to ride to date. There are definitely some build quality concerns, but as far as just riding enjoyment, this is at the top in my opinion for what I do. It's not going to have the range of some other bigger wheels out there, but the torque is really nice. Suspension, you can really set up very well. It took me just a few minutes to get it right. And again, like I said, I'm about 150 pounds, maybe 160 with gear and everything on. And I have about 230 PSI in this shock. Super big bump there. Soaked it up like it was nothing. If I got one of these, I would definitely want to put some more power pads on it just to kind of protect the structure, in addition to having a bit more of a locked-in riding feel. I realize from the factory they do have to kind of accommodate all shoe sizes, leg sizes. So even though this does have really nice power pads, it is a bit of a looser fit than I prefer personally. But again, that's stuff you can dial in very easily with the aftermarket. There's some great solutions out there. on Amazon, on EUC forums, and personal websites. Really getting into the flow here. This is awesome. Just lovely. Little jump. Like I said, not as locked in as I'd like to be. Don't have the confidence over those jumps that I do on my MSX with my power pad setup. Throw some speed at this wheel and it's pillowy soft. Helps, doesn't it?
That's crazy. I don't even have to soak up the steps.
No, you can just attack. Like, you just charge at them.
They act like they're not there.
Yeah. Saves the knees.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, that's good. Nice smooth landing.
Taller one.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to be a wrap for this Begode T4. Really nice riding impressions. Off-road, this is just a fantastic wheel. On-road, it's going to be smooth, comfy, a little bit safer than something without a suspension wheel. And yeah, I'm a big fan of what they've done here. Hopefully we'll get a chance to test some updated versions in the future. Would like to see some extra refinement here in terms of build and fit, finish, and some improvements to hide some of these wires and really kind of clean up the casing of this wheel. But otherwise, pretty good first impressions. Big shout out to Yuko. Thanks for letting me have this wheel for a few days. www.yuko.us. Hit up my affiliate link in the description and top comment if you want to learn more about this wheel and or pre-order one for yourself. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.